Well, I'm off to explore Whorneyside Force. Why not come with me? Well, good morning, and once again we're out and about in the Lake District, and we've come back not far from an area we've been to before. Yeah, the last video, which was trying to think where it was from. Oh yeah, Great Langdale was obviously east of Keswick, as I explained on the video. But the time before that, we were at Cathedral Cave and Tarn How, and we're in a similar area. We're in Great Langdale, and we've parked at the old Dungeon Gill. And if I turn round, where are we? Looking over, I suppose looking over that way behind me there, that's where we go over to Tarn. And if you carry on going from Tarn and keep going south from there, you end up at Little Langdale Quarries, the Slater Bridge and Cathedral Cave. So no, we're not far from there. But I was looking at the weather forecast. I was hoping to have got out yesterday. I just wasn't in the right frame of mind yesterday, so got on with various things that I needed to get on, and one was to get the video that I've mentioned from Great Langdale finished off and loaded up, so that's ready to roll at 5 o'clock tonight, because today's Sunday, so I didn't go out yesterday, and I've got something on this afternoon, so I actually set my alarm quite early, and foolishly I woke up in the middle of the night and started doing things rather than trying to get back to sleep, which means when I woke up I was very tired. So initially I just turned the alarm off, and then suddenly thought, oh, I better get a move on, and looked, and half an hour had already gone past. I mean, I was hoping to get here for sort of sunrise, not that you can see behind me it's very overcast. It's going to be an overcast day. So knowing the forecast, I thought, why not, let's go and catch the images of a waterfall. And I was looking for one just on the internet, waterfalls of the Lake District, trying to find a waterfall that I haven't actually been to before. And that's what I've done. I found this one, and I think it's called Whorneyside Force. I'll put the name up on the video just so you can see it. I'm assuming that the W is silent, so it's rather than Whorneyside, so I'm assuming it's Whorneyside Force. But yeah, so that's where we're going. It's a waterfall I haven't been to before, and this might be a slightly shorter video than the last few, because I'm only going to the one fairly specific location rather than an area to look round. And as I say, I do need to be back in Keswick for just after lunchtime. Yeah, I want to be really leaving here by 12, or certainly not much after. And it's probably about 8:30 now in the morning, so yeah, which is very early for me. Anyway, we'll stop rambling there, we'll carry on onto the waterfall, and we'll see you a little bit later. Right, well, we've made it up to the waterfall, and I'm just questioning my pronunciation because I bumped into somebody and said where I was going, and they thought it was Whorneyside Force, whereas I thought it was Whorneyside Force with a silent W, but I don't know. You'll have seen the name anyway, and you can decide. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. I quite like this one, having never been here before. and if you look up there, it goes all the way up there, and just above there is another smaller waterfall. And I have had the drone up and taken some video and some stills, so if they're any good, you'll have possibly seen some of the video, and you'll see some of the stills if they're any good. And at the moment, if we just look across here, there's the camera, and we're just doing a standard, fairly standard composition. We've got these 24 to 70 on, it's fully open at 24, and we're just getting a bit of the plunge pool and the full height of the waterfall. And I've obviously done it as a landscape, which is 6x4, but I might crop it into a 5x4. I mean, if we just try here, let me zoom in. So rather than doing a sort of one like that, I've got the greenery to the right hand side in, and at the moment on the 6x4 the waterfall is on the third, I think it's the third, or it could be on the quarter, I can't remember the grid on the camera now. So that's the composition. It's just a fairly standard one, but what I am going to do, I'm going to lower the camera down and zoom in slightly, just so we're skimming over the top of the plunge pool and getting the bottom bit of the waterfall in, and possibly do quite a long exposure for that. I mean, on the one I've done now, I've varied with altering the aperture and the ISO, and as you see at the moment, it's got a 3-stop ND filter on. I've varied from, I think without the filter it was an 1/8 of a second. With the filter on, I went down to a second, then up to half a second, and then a quarter of a second. And whichever I think is best, I will put up on the video. So, yeah, but we'll as I say, we'll come up with some other compositions. I mean, there's quite a lot round here, although, as I explained, I need to be back in Keswick for just after lunchtime, so I haven't got a huge amount of time, but you can see there are various other, there's a fall there, whether I'll get down to that, there's some others further down. Certainly I just assumed there would just be the one main fall. I didn't realise there'd be so many others that could maybe come up with compositions. So we'll do the best we can in the time we've got, and maybe it's something to come back to. So yeah, we'll stop waffling there, we'll put images up, and we'll see you a little bit later. Right, Well, we've come to these slightly lower falls. If I just come around there, you can see them better. Not much further down. If we just look up there, we've got the upper falls. And yeah, it's quite pleasant. I've come at an angle, so we're shooting, the composition is at an angle. If I zoom out slightly, you can see. And it also means that as the water bends round to this side, I don't know whether you can see, it sort of comes round there. We're capturing that in the image as well. So yeah, how it'll come out, I've taken various images from, I think, about a 15th of a second right down to half a second, and I think one of those will look suitable. So yeah, I think we're gonna, after we put this image up, we're gonna head back down, unless we see anything particularly spectacular or easy to get to. This was getting across the stream here wasn't the easiest of streams to cross, and we've got to get back. It's when the rocks, as if we look down, some of the ones, that one down there is very slimy, and that makes them very slippy, so you've just got to be very careful. So yeah, but as we see, it's still a fairly very overcast day, so I mean that's the way we're heading back down. So we'll put this image up and we'll see you a little bit later. Right, well down off the fells into the valley. I've just come through the farm we went through on the way up, so more or less on a level now back to the van. And amazingly enough, as it may seem, on my way back and it's still morning. Whoa, that's very unusual for me. Just shows I can do it when I need to. So yeah, it's been a grand morning. I mean, I suppose partly I'm treating it as a bit like a scouting trip, somewhere I've never been before, not quite knowing what's going to be there. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. There was a lot more than I thought, and it's well worth a visit back in the future to try and get more images. So, and you'll see from the map it's not particularly far I've walked. If I just look at my, if I can get it off while still filming. Oh. Right, let's just try and look at this. Well, I've done about 3.5 miles, so not particularly far. So yeah, and what I forgot to say about the second image I took, the one of the sort of plunge pool and a bit of the waterfall, I took various shutter speeds going from probably about 1/8 of a second right through to 30 seconds. But what I might do, and I've done this once before, is blend two of the images. I think a 30 second might give me the ideal sort of scenario I want for the actual plunge pool, but it might be just too long for the actual waterfall. So I might get one with the waterfall that's maybe near 1/2 second or whatever, and just blend the two together. Well, we'll have to see in post. So And I suppose you'll be aware whether I've done that or not, because you'll have seen the image by now, and I'll put on if it was a blended image. I don't particularly like doing composites when you're taking different bits of different images from different places and putting them all in one. But when the camera's not really moving, it's sat on the tripod, and you're doing either different exposures or shutter speeds to get different effects, and you want that different for different parts. Or the other thing, which is common, is focus stacking, where you're focusing on different bits and then you're blending the image together. To me, that's fine. It's just people make some very nice compositions, and as long as they're fairly clear that it is a composition and not an actual sort of image all taken at the same time, I've no problem with that. But yeah, it's just not me really. So yeah, right. Just to remind people, if you've enjoyed the video, please click the thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing, why not subscribe? We're nearly getting to 800, so any additional subscriptions would be greatly appreciated. And whatever, if there's anything you like, dislike, questions, please comment, and I do answer all comments. So yeah, and what next? Basically, I'm not sure, because I think the problem why I didn't go out yesterday, I just couldn't think of anywhere. So part of yesterday was spent coming up with an idea for today. But at the moment, I haven't got any ideas, particularly for next week. I've got one idea in mind, and whether it's getting a bit late in the year to do it, I don't know, and whether we could do that next weekend, I'm not quite sure. So, or whether we can get out in the middle of the week in the Lake District just to get another arm. So struggling with this constant battle of needing to get one done. It'd be nice to have a couple in the bag, and then you just feel a bit easier about it all. So yeah, I did mention I was in the last video that I was approaching a running annual figure of over 3,000 hours, and I've now passed that. So hopefully, I've just got to look at the options. I think there's 3 options. You can create a membership, which I don't know whether I really want to do. You can have click on super chats or whatever they call them, where I would get money out of it. And the other thing is sort of shopping things, which I'm not quite sure whether any are applicable. So we'll investigate, and if we put any of them up, we'll let you know in a future video. So, but it's nice to see that the channel's growing. So yeah, so as I say, it's been a nice day. Waterfalls are ideal when we've got this very overcast, as you can probably see looking at me, overcast sky. And yeah, we've just got to try and look out, hopefully next time, to have a bit of light and that. So yeah, it is very flat today, but yeah, it's been a good day. Found a new spot, found some great waterfalls, well worth coming back, and we'll see you on the next video.